So I'm celebrating my win for MD102 today, and it's beautiful that I went through the route to understand how MD102 works. And yes, I came out successful, and I thought to share how I prepare for Microsoft certification basically. Because a lot of persons have come on to say, hey, bro, what's up? What are you doing? How are you doing it? So today I'm just going to be generous about how I discuss about preparations for examinations on this public forum so that people can, learn how to write exams, prepare for them, and then see how they can possibly pass them. One thing to mention from the beginning is that there is no shortcut to doing any of these things. So you have to be intentional about it, right? You need to prepare. Preparation is very, very important. So preparation, meeting opportunity, they see becomes success, right? So I'm going to be showing you the steps that I follow and see if that's going to work for you. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. I'm just doing this screen that I am on. Then I will just share this. So one of the things I do, first of all, say for example, the MD102 that I just passed, is to go to the web and I type MD102 examination, or I'll just do Microsoft Learn. This is where I start from, right? So if I start from this, that means this is going to come on with all these. So I may just open to see the one that fits what I'm looking for, right? So once I get the one that fits into what I'm looking for, the next thing I will do is to go down the modules that come with that particular certification. So I'm not sure why this is not loading properly. I will just close out some I'll just close out some tabs and see. So I will just reload. Let me see my efficiency in the channels that I am at the moment and be sure that I am good. Um, so this is for some reason taking a lot of time to load, which is not normal. So but let me just quickly check. MD102 Microsoft Learn. Let me do that again. Why are you not trying to open when I want to open further? Because this is very important as a starting point. I'll just do a refresh again. And I really want us to open this one here. So let us see how that one goes. Okay, so I'm very sure that is going to open, right? So what I will just do is to add a new tab and put my second step while preparing, and that's on GitHub. So for my 102, I try to go to GitHub to look through the labs that are available there. So this is what I was trying to open, and then it was doing some kind of delay, right? Even though it's not still very nice. So this is Microsoft Certified Endpoint Administrator Associates, and then it's taking a lot of time, right? So while that is even trying that, I'm sure I'm having a lot of network related issues. Okay, but this is one other place we will come to after we look through the other one. So let me just be sure that I have audio. It's taking a lot of time. Right. Okay. So right now, so I may just try to check my end if I have good audio. MD102. Let's look through the training also. Um, okay, so generally I come here and I tend to check, right? I tend to check the GitHub. So for the GitHub lab, it's very important after you've been through the basic steps that you need to understand from here, right? But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So these are the basic things that you first of all need to look at it, explore endpoint management, then MD102 execute device enrollment. Then here is configure profile for users and devices. So you can also see more. Once you've gone through all of these, so one after the other. So what I do is this is going to take 1 hour, 1 hour 19 minutes, 1 hour 3 minutes, and 1 hour 1 hour 2 hours 1 hour. So if you put everything together, this is 3, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, around 11. Let's say if you add the minutes to it, around 12 hours is what you would see here in the Microsoft Learn document of this course. But I tell you, in reality, you can spend, so I spend average of 1 month trying to look through this, right? So what I would do is if I come to the Microsoft Learn doc and I'm preparing for endpoint administrator, right? So what I would do first of all is to look at the the overview. It shows that as a candidate for this certification, you have subject matter experience managing devices and clients application in M365 tenant by using Microsoft Intune. So you are responsible for implementing solution for efficient deployment and management of endpoints on various operating system platforms and device types. So you're going to implement and manage endpoints at scale by using Microsoft Intune, and all of these are what are required of you, right? So now you look at here, it's saying as endpoint administrator, you collaborate with architects. That's going to be what you're going to be doing. Then you work with M365 administrator as well as security administrator and other workload administrator to plan and implement modern workplace strategies that meet business need of an organization. So you really go through all of this. So what you do next is you must have experience with Entra ID. So what it means is that before you do a course like this, you may have to go back and understand the basic principles of Entra, right? Starting from M365 technologies, and then you can understand the M365 admin center. Maybe you want to go for examinations like MS102 first, right? Just so you can understand how Entra works, how devices work, right? How users work, users password, and device management generally, right? Then you now come to pick this. So you should understand how authentication happens in Entra, right? And M35 technology, as well as you need to have a strong experience in deploying and configuring, as well as maintaining Windows client and non-window clients. Non-window clients they're talking about include your Android, your Linux, your iOS, your iPad OS, then your Android OS, because this cuts across, not like the Active Directory that is just specific about what's it called, about Windows devices alone. So here it cuts across, right? So now, if you look at it after going through what you will need to know, right? So you also need to now check. You also need to now check what are those topics that are here. Ideally, the best way to go about it is to make sure that you take it one after the other. It is just the best way to do it. Go through it one after the other. So what you can do is to right click and then open. So if you open that, you want to make sure that because you have links linking to others or leading to other places where you need to go check, you must make sure that you are intentional about what you are looking for. I'm not sure why this is always failing when I open it, but ideally I'm going to open it and then look through each of the topics one after the other, read it thoroughly to understand how that works, right? So I'm still waiting for that to load. I guess I'm having a bit of some delays in loading sites for me. Perhaps because I'm streaming, I don't know whether my bandwidth is strong enough to do that. So that is for Microsoft Learn, one after the other. So if I finish the Explore Endpoint Management, which is going to have like a lot of details, useful information in between them, and then I move on, I can put this for say 1 week, right? So what I would do is you can see this now right inside the first training course here. You would see that I have examine benefits of modern management, examine endpoint desktop lifecycle models, then examine planning and purchasing, then examine desktop deployment, then plan and application deployments. You go through all of these, right? So at the end of it, you look at the summary after you've done. So the good thing is that after every of the modules you cover, then you are going to have a module assessment that is going to take a bit of minutes just to give answers to them. And the good thing about the assessment is that even when you get it wrong, it is going to give you the right answers, right? So for example, I do this, I'm just clicking randomly, right? And then I say submit answers. So for the ones that I got wrong, I would see definitely that it is incorrect. So but the good thing about this is I'll see the ones I'm correct. So the point is, at this stage you may not really see an example of how it is correct. I mean, the correct answer among this list, but it will tell you what you passed, right? So the thing is, you can also retake it if just in case you want to try your hands on till you get the right one. However, that's not the best way to do it. How I suggest that you do it is when you are done with the whole course, right? You can come down here to take a practice assessment. So the practice assessment part is very important because with practice assessments, you'll be able to see the right answers to the questions that you are getting wrong, just so you can prepare yourself and then retake it. And it is suggested or recommended that you take it several times. And then when you are able to pass it, then when you're able to score about 80%, 70% for about 3 consecutive times, then what that means is that you have the ability to go for that exam and you will likely pass the exam. So that's trying to load, but that's not the point I was addressing. So I was addressing this point that you would have end of module assessments that you can always try your hands on and see if you are getting them correctly or getting them wrong. Like what I have here, the two of them are wrong. So the next thing you do is to go to the next one. So this explore Windows editions, right? So here you have to just expand this and then you go through the introduction. So this is supposed to take you like 29 minutes, right? But to be very honest, it does not work with that timing because depend on your experience. If you already have experiences, you may not spend like a lot of time, but for people who are still learning and for people who are more theoretical than practical, what I mean is that those who know theory more, who are just beginning their journey, they may want to take their time to really understand what they are looking at, not just to flip through them and then go. The reason is because Microsoft Learn is, for me, one of the most detailed resources available for free that you can easily access, read, and then you even have options to um, reach out if you need for that assistance, right? So you can go through introduction, and then once you're done with this, you come down to understanding Microsoft Entra ID, which is one of the requirements that you were told. So if you are somebody who works with M365 a lot, you may not really have a lot of things to do with. You may not spend a lot of time reading this, understanding Microsoft Entra ID, because introduction is going to be there, how to examine Microsoft Entra ID, how to compare Entra ID and Active Directory, that is the cloud and the on-premises authentication or user management, right? Or management, I would say. So you come to compare Microsoft Entra ID Plan 1 and Plan 2 in terms of licensing, what is available for Plan 1 and what is available for Plan 2. So you have that experience there. And one good thing about this is this cuts across MD102. It cuts this particular topic cuts across MD102, MS102. I think you would even see it when you study for SC 300. Yes, to cut across SC 300. That means if you are reading for SC 300, then you come across this module. If you are reading for MD102, you come across this module. If you're also preparing for M, MD102, you also come across it. I hope I did not repeat anyone. MD102, MS102, and SC 300. Maybe it can even appear in some other ones. And if you feel that you know where else you also see this, you can also highlight that for my notice, right? So moving on, you will see the next module is here. So you go through this. So as at the time you are done with RBAC, so managing Microsoft Entra Identity. So if you do SC 300 again, this again is just coming on. And I think managing Entra identities also available in managing Entra Identity, SC 300. Um, I think it's also available in MS102. It should be available. Yes, Microsoft Entra Identity. Yes, because that cuts across role-based access control, managing users in Microsoft Entra ID, and then creating groups and all of that. So yes, it's definitely available in MS102. So what that means is that you need to go through this. It is not just going to be useful alone in your MD102 journey. It will also be useful for your MS 102 and even SC 300. So, but really, how do I even check or to now confirm that let us go for these examinations? I'm sure I skipped that. And if you are just joining this live, you would actually find this useful that I want to share. So I will just quickly add another tab. I will still come back there, right? But let me just look at something. Become Microsoft certified. So it's one of those places that you who may be asking the question, right? That how do you know which to take? And I'm just calling MD102, MS102, SC300, and so on. All these may not really make sense to somebody who is listening to this at this time and has not even decided or know how to decide what certification he or she is going to take. Having said that, I just want that to load and then I'll come back to, I don't know why I have a fail after every time I try to open a page. So, but that's fine. We'll come back to that. So, having gone through the whole of this, right, and nailed it, then what you do is to come back and then you pick the second one, which is going to be the execute device enrollment, right? So once you open execute device enrollment, I'm trying to also look through this also. So to reload it, so coming back to where we are. So if I come to execute device enrollment and I open that, the same thing I did for the other one, I would have to do it also one after the other, read through it and make note of it. And then once I'm done with this Microsoft Learn, right, what I do next is to open the practice assessments, right? Open practice. You can launch Sandbox, right, to experience the look and feel of the exam before you actually begin. But like the practice assessment is one of those tools that I find useful. I'm trying to open that and let's see what happens. But if I have a delay, so what the experience you are going to have there is you'd have to go through the stages involved, right, in all the questions. So there are 50 questions that are not timed. So you can decide to take it all at a time or do it one after the other. But as the case may be, you would always be able to submit when you have gotten to the very last question in terms of the practice assessment, right? So basically, the step I take is go through the documents from Microsoft Learn this way, one after the other. Then once that is done, come to practice assessments and take the practice assessments. I already know how the sandbox looks. I mean, the examination looks, so I don't always come to sandbox. But if you are new to this, you may want to just try the sandbox and see how it is. Then once you are done with that, you can schedule your exam, but you have to have a Microsoft Learn account. So this price, I see it varies from country to country. So for example, if I'm in Taiwan, I'm going to pay $83. If I am in here, I'm going to pay 89 euro. And then let's say I'm here, I'm going to pay 83 USD. So I'm in Nigeria at the moment. So in Nigeria here, you have to pay $83. So let's check. So you're going to pay $83. So for this exam, all that you have to pay is $83. And one thing to mention, and which is very important, is that you do not pay money at the examination centers to Pearson VUE. So if you have anybody in the examination center requesting for money from you, you should know that the person is not doing the right thing, right? Because paying for this exam is that you have paid for everything, including um, the writing materials inside the exam, the if there is any noise cancellation aid, I mean gadgets they want to give to you to have on your ears, if there's any seat they're going to give you, the computer they're going to use at the exam center, you have already paid for it. And the second option is if you are not if you are not going to test center, you also have the option to write it in the house. But you have to maintain the clean desk policy. You have to make sure your desk is clean and you have no other objects that can incriminate you from at your left, at your right, your back and your front. And you must make sure also that that you don't have multiple screens, right? It has to be one screen. There's no option for extended screen to write the exam. So once you test your network speed. If it aligns with the exam, then of course you can sit down in the comfort of your home and write the exam without any noise. And there are online support that can also help you just in case you have any form of issues during the course of the exam. So I'm still trying to refresh the certification poster and see if that's going to come up. So that said, I will come back to this place, and that's very important. So that is the GitHub environment. Let me just see if I can sign into my Microsoft Learn account to show you how practice assessment works, right? So I'm just going to do this now, see if I'm going to be able to successfully sign in there because my network is very wonderful this afternoon. So, but while that is trying to load, of course, it's just an assessment, right? So I don't know, this is trying to fail, but let's leave that. So one very nice thing that everybody preparing for these exams should know is that there is Microsoft Learn on GitHub, right? The Microsoft Learn on GitHub is like it is the best resource I have seen while preparing for these exams because each of it is going to show you exactly the steps to follow. For example, managing identity in Azure, right? This will show you exactly how to manage identity, the steps you need to follow. So I may need to take a special time to bring this even on a live event like this when I have like a more stable internet connection and walk you through exactly the steps that are available here on GitHub, right? The Microsoft Learn GitHub, right? That you can use to prepare for your examination. So it will take it one after the other, and this is ending at 802. So it's okay, it's going to have code by itself 0101, 0102, 0201, and so on. So we're going to have a lot of it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can just count them. And the good thing is that this is going to hold you through the sessions. So this link also, if you need it, you can ask for it. It is just very useful. So after going through all of these and then going through the practice assessments multiple times, Microsoft Learn has recommended you doing that a couple of times. And if you have repeated over 80% score then you can go for the exam and try it. And I must tell you that it is not every time you write that you pass. So even if you prepare, you may still write and you are not able to hit the 700 mark. But you should not worry, right? But don't wait until it is too long before you go and write it again so that you don't start the preparation from the very beginning and afresh. So these are the steps, and I want to call it a wrap at this point. So this is me celebrating victory for the MD 102, and I'm available to support anyone preparing for this exam at this time to guide you through how to prepare for it. But basically, and one thing that is standing out as part of the conversations that we're having today is that you must hold very strongly the Microsoft Learn document, and you must hold very strongly the practice assessment that you have here. And after doing the practice assessment, you should go to the Microsoft Learn on GitHub and try to go through the practicals, right? The labs, just so you can get your hand prepared on it because of scenario-based questions that you will likely experience during the course of the exam. So thank you very much for stopping by. And then thank you for your continuous encouragement and assistance in my own end. Also, I appreciate that very well. And I wish you success for those preparing for examinations. And then for those who are already practicing like a lot of things who have not taken exam, it is also a good thing if you just try your hands on something. So I will be calling it a wrap, like I mentioned. And I want to say, have a good day. Peace.